Imagine owning something so valuable that you're unwilling to share it with a rival country, kind of like kids fighting over toys. Well, Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins recently dropped the hammer. She announced plans to ban the sale of American farmland to buyers with ties to China and other foreign adversaries, citing threats to national and food security. This effort casts uncertainty over property certainly held by China-linked investors. Reporters inquired whether the U.S. government would seek to reclaim existing land owned by the Chinese investors. Rollins said they're looking at every available option. The question I ask is, why would any American want a powerhouse like China owning some of the world's best land? Please welcome show Mr. Luke Lloyd. Luke, this all happened in the last couple of weeks, but it's a problem that's been brewing for a long time, and I think you have some opinions about it.
Yeah, I find actually this very, very ironic. So again, I always bring up history because it's really a good gauge for why things happen. And I always go back to 2001 when we added China to the WTO, the World Trade Organization. And the reason we did that was we were trying to make us basically more rich by using maybe cheaper labor, but also we were trying to make them more Western and kind of more taking over the American ideals. But all we did in that kind of realm was really make them rich. It kept our inflation rate low, so I'm not going to say it's just talking on one side. It did help America out in many ways, outsourcing stuff to China, at least during that time. But we made them rich, and they never adapted our ideals. So it's very ironic that we made them rich in that process, and now they're using that money basically to buy American farmland, to buy parts of America. And I see this basically continuing to happen as long as the government doesn't step in like they are right now, which is a very, very good positive, because this is no longer about capitalism and the free markets. This is truly about national security.
Yeah, and this happened in North Dakota. The Chinese wanted to buy a huge chunk of ground. Guess what was right next to this ground, Luke? A military base. A military base, right? We can't be doing that. So there's you put in about how many acres are owned. It's not a huge number. It's not a huge percentage. But then if you look on the map, where are those acres owned by our resources or our military bases? It's a big number, correct?
That's exactly right. I think it's 380,000 acres is what the Chinese currently own in America. And that's just, I think, the governments. It's not talking about maybe different, individual citizens over there. But 380,000, that's still a relatively small number in the aggregate. But you're exactly right. Where are they placing this money? Where are they placing their capital from an ROI investment standpoint? That's why they're buying it. They're trying to do something with that land. They're not just spending money buying it just to put it away and not think about it. They're doing this strategically. And it's very interesting if you think about things from an American aspect. Are we allowed to go over there and buy their land? The answer to that is no. So why are they able to buy our land? And why are we just now talking about this when they've been an adversary for 10 or 15 years, right? When you have a number one and number two nation in the world competing, it seems like we've just kind of allowed them to run all over us, right? So I think the question we need to ask is, when does that stop? How do we get back ahead? And are these policies too far gone? Meaning that, has the Chinese actually gone too far, and are we too late to be able to pivot? I think those are very important questions to ask.
Right, and who knows who the Chinese are partnered with, where they gave money. There's a little kid. You're not allowed to go in the liquor store, but someone a little older, and you went in for you, right? Are there some of those side deals going on?
I would say so. I don't know exactly what that would look like. I don't have the inside intelligence there, but that always goes on. Whether you're a corporation, whether you're a country, a business, like all of these things rely on other people, good partnerships, good relationships. I mean, that's what makes business work. And all politics is a big business, right? So that absolutely is happening. But when it comes to the investment thesis, I think you have to understand that there's going to be some more rising political tensions between the U.S. and China, especially if we turn off the spigot, allowing them to buy the land. That's going to create more tension. So that's one of the reasons why my clients do not own anything in China, because I would not be surprised if one day in the next couple of years, we see some delisting of Chinese companies on the New York Stock Exchange. So you won't be able to get your money. I'm not trying to create fear here. I'm just saying that's a risk. And that's one of the reasons why Chinese stocks are trading at such low multiples. Everyone says they're cheap. Well, they're kind of cheap for a reason.
Right. And this kind of ties into the whole TikTok debacle. We could talk about that. Like, they're going to spin off TikTok, and at least the American version maybe not be part of the Chinese version. Or so. Is that what you're talking about?
That's all definitely part of the political side of it, right? So whether it's social media, whether it's the metaverse that we're heading into, whether it's actual real estate, whether it's the rare earth metal deal that we're trying to make with China that Trump's trying to negotiate, whether it's China invading Taiwan, there's a lot of geopolitical risk that people aren't paying attention to, because right now all you see in the headlines is tariffs, right? So it's funny how short-minded people are when it comes to the investment thesis, or when it comes to positioning their money. They only think about kind of the news cycle of the current, but we tend to forget what just happened over the past couple of years between TikTok, between China and Taiwan. I do think eventually China and Taiwan situation will come back in the newspapers. Another reason why you want to pay attention to maybe investments, even semiconductor investments over in Taiwan, where a lot of semiconductors are made. One of the reasons why America put the CHIPS Act out there to try to bring that manufacturing back here. But the problem is that takes 5 to 10 years usually to happen, all that investment to go out throughout the economy. And again, the question you have to ask is that too far too gone to be a national security threat?
Luke, you are a fan favorite, and you're definitely a favorite of this guy and the cow guy. Mr. Luke Lloyd, thank you for joining us today.
Tommy Gunn, I always enjoy it, man.
Thanks, my friend.